Hi, this is Hector Garcia, and I'm here to introduce our next lesson piece, in this case the Pacelbel Canon In D that I recently arranged for a solo guitar. Now this piece was a little of a challenge actually to arrange because the original is for strings quartet or chamber orchestra, and putting all of that together on a guitar is quite challenging. So if you try to make the arrangement with all the harmony and melody together as it is written, it just doesn't sound well in any solo instrument. So we took some artistic freedoms so that we have a version that sounds well in the guitar, but that it still preserves the beauty of the Pacelbel Canon In D. Hopefully you will agree with me. Now about playing the piece, it has some challenges for both left and right hand. It has a section that's fast, so you will have to practice your scales, but it's not extremely fast. In fact, I prefer to play the piece on the slow side because I like it better that way. But I've seen faster versions that are nice too, so it's up to you. For the left hand, the challenge is always on having the fingers in the right position, being able to execute those vibratos and all the effects that the guitar offers us. And hopefully you will get a piece that sounds together well and that it gets you satisfaction. Now, the description of how to play the piece ended up being longer than I expected. So for each hand, I have 3 or 4 shorter videos that together make the total. So I hope you enjoy this piece, and I hope that in some weeks or months you have it playing to your satisfaction. Thank you. Now we are going to cover the left-hand technique for the Pacelbel Canon. Once again, the introduction comes mainly from arpeggios and the basses. Perhaps the only challenge in this section is to make sure that all notes ring well. We have some stretches, and stretches where we press the basses, and that always brings the risk of killing the sound on the notes that are below, the higher pitch notes. So you have to make sure that or your wrist is bent enough or your fingers are arched enough not to interfere with the sounds that you are trying to produce. To begin the coverage of the right hand technique for the Pacelbel Canon In D, we're going to play the introduction of the piece, which is mainly a series of arpeggios played with the basses mainly, and because of that also mainly played with the thumb. To get the sound I like for this introduction, I use mainly the flesh of my thumb rather than the nail, because with the flesh, the sound I get is going to be maybe a little quieter, but with more body, and that's what I like for this introduction. After doing that, I will also play the same introduction, but with a different sound, a sound that I get by putting the edge of my hand on the bridge here, but we'll cover that after the first version I do now, which is how I recorded the piece for this lesson. Alright, now let me do that same section with the altered sound. This technique is sometimes called pizzicato, and what you do is you put the edge of your right hand basically on top of the bridge, enough to kill some of the sound, but because of that the sound you get is kind of like a drummy, and it's interesting, you'll notice. That effect is pretty common in string quartets, so it would be nice to be able to play the piece like that to reflect the way it's done by the strings. But, it's not necessary. The regular way, as long as we get a sound that is not too bright for this piece, I think works well.